The Elimination Chamber is a silly thing, a Frankenstein's monster of a match with Hell in a Cell, Royal Rumble and Survivor Series stipulations fused together at the spine. That much mad science shouldn't work, but somehow it does, with the Chamber being probably the last great original stipulation created by WWE, apart from Money in the Bank and of course the Punjabi Prison match, which is really good. 4 men in little tubes, 2 men in the ring, random entries and no rules. It's a format that's led to some fantastic moments over the years and some that are very much less than amazing. I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com and here are 10 things WWE want you to forget about the Elimination Chamber. Number 10. The Bulletproof Pods. Look, we all know that when WWE talks about any of the jolly props its wrestlers use, it's always exaggerating. The ring steps do not weigh 400 pounds, the ladders aren't made of solid steel, and the Lexan plexiglass sure as ain't bulletproof. It's as flimsy as bollocks, with Goldberg spearing Jericho through some, Goldberg kicking a hole through some in the same match, and best of all, Barrett and Ziggler accidentally breaking a pane of it in the 2015 Intercontinental match, and oh, we'll get to that. As much as WWE tried to spin the Chamber as Satan's prison weighing 5 million pounds, made of shark bone and built on an ancient Native American burial ground, it's actually made of bits of fence and silly flimsy plastic. Number 9, all the bad entrants. There have been some really wonky competitors in the Elimination Chamber matches over the year, entrants that really serve to undermine the evil, oh my god, who can survive atmosphere WWE tries to cultivate. Santino Marella was in it in 2012 and nearly won the bloody thing. Los Matadores, Ted DiBiase, R-Truth's been in it 4 times. Even some of the guys who fit the bill of at least being big have been totally rubbish in the match, like Big Daddy V, Mike Knox. Hands up who remembers Mike Knox? Okay, Vladimir Kozlov, the Great Khali, they've all had moments in the pods, and none of these moments will be making it into the hype package for this year's Chamber match. Number 8, a fan climbs the Chamber. The Elimination Chamber is a big tall thing, and as written in the Gospel according to Shane, and lo, tall things are made to be jumped off because I'm mental. Wrestlers have leapt from the top of the pods, Morrison and Kalisto plummeted from the ceiling, but to this day, no one has climbed on top of the actual Chamber ceiling itself. Well, no wrestler has. A fan has. At WrestleMania Access last year, one of the key attractions was a full-size Elimination Chamber that fans could step inside. One fan decided to take it where wrestlers have so far been afraid to step and clambered up to the ceiling, causing This Is Awesome chance to break out because wrestling fans are simultaneously the best and worst people in the world. Considering the Duke could have broken his neck and caused a legal storm, WWE would very much like you to not climb its Satan's prisons, please. Number 7, the result doesn't always matter. Twice, on 2 separate occasions, despite the Chamber being a grueling contest that leaves bodies broken and souls shattered, twice the result of the match has meant precisely jack shit. And both times it happened to John Cena. In 2006 and 2010, both times John Cena went through a Chamber match, both times Vince McMahon came out with a heel to say, yeah, you know the whole last half an hour? That doesn't matter! In 2006 at New Year's Revolution, Cena outlasted 5 other dudes only to have Edge cash in his Money in the Bank on him and win the belt. In 2010 at Elimination Chamber, Cena outlasted 5 other dudes only for Batista to come out and cash in his Being Batista in the Bank and win the belt. I'm not saying these moments were bad, it's just that WWE might not want you to dwell on the fact they're prone to repeating themselves. Number 6, Triple H's throat gets crushed. My kneecap just kind of blew over to the other side of my leg. I've torn the pectoral muscle completely off my shoulder. I've had surgery 5 times in my left knee. Please, don't try this. So wrestling's a tricky lark and bad things happen, including getting your goddamn throat crushed, Jesus Christ. In 2002, in the inaugural Chamber match, RVD, incorrigible little flipperoo that he is, did a 5-star frog splash off the pod and landed on Triple H. Except, he landed on his throat, crushing it like Vince crushes your Royal Rumble dreams. Triple H then finished the match in an ungodly amount of pain, a bloody heroic feat which WWE want you to forget, considering he was supposed to be the cowardly bastard heel at the time. Number 5, Goldberg lost. Seeing that the big, bald, scary planets have aligned, somehow Goldberg is the hottest wrestler going into WrestleMania. This is very strange. Like, I get the feeling that the crowd should actually be screaming swarms of ducks onto the burning streets, but that's the situation we're in. Right now, it seems like nothing can stop the world's strongest dad, and let's not forget we felt that before. In 2003, Goldberg was entered into the Elimination Chamber match at SummerSlam for her's World Heavyweight title, and holy shit, Goldberg ruined every son of a bitch in that metal box, destroying Randy Orton, Shawn Michaels, and Chris Jericho. He'd been undefeated since debuting and had a giant amount of momentum, and then whoops, sledgehammer shot, Goldberg's defeated and Triple H retains. Just like that, the man who crushed the rest of the field was humbled, and Big Trips remained champ for 1 whole month when Goldberg finally won, making the whole making everyone angry and derailing a genuinely huge monster thing entirely pointless. Number 4, Jack Swagger won. And speaking of pointless, you don't know Jack. Mr. Swaggy has been a feature of WWE for the better part of a decade now, and for a man with a pronounced lisp and the emotional range of a moose corpse, he's done well. But with hindsight being what it is, they absolutely wasted an Elimination Chamber win on him. Swagger returned in 2013 with a newly acquired set of far-right beliefs and Donald J. Trump as his manager. Regardless of how tasteful you thought the anti-immigration gimmick was, it was a headline grabber, and WWE capitalized by giving him a victory at Elimination Chamber, making him the #1 contender to Alberto Del Rio's World Heavyweight Championship. Slight problem, Swagger would celebrate his victory by copping a DUI and being in possession of weed. Good stuff. He promptly lost a feud with Del Rio and took a merry trip down the card, making his Chamber win one of the most improbable and forgettable today. Number 3, the Extreme Elimination Chamber. Golly, where to begin with December to Dismember? So in 2006, ECW had come back, now operating under WWE's rulebook, and to give you an idea of how the reboot of the Flips and Barbed Wire Motley Lunatic Club was going, Big Show was the champion. Good stuff. In December, WWECW was given its first pay-per-view, barely promoted, and incredibly close to Survivor Series, just to make sure it absolutely tanked, and tank it f***ing did, boy howdy. It received the lowest pay-per-view buy rates in the history of WWE to that point, got Paul Heyman canned, and very nearly killed every man, woman, and child in America. The main event was an Extreme Elimination Chamber, aka the Elimination Chamber with Tat inside. It was a bit of a debacle. Sabu was removed at the last minute and replaced with Mr. Charisma Hardcore Holly. Fan favourites Punk and River Durr were eliminated before the final two, which killed fan investment, and Dr. Bland, Bobby Lashley, was crowned champion in underwhelming fashion. The Big Dub have tried to sweep this entire pay-per-view under the carpet, and this very bad Chamber match very much included. But it's not the worst Chamber match ever. No, sir. That would be number 2, the Intercontinental Chamber. So at least the Extreme Chamber had Test doing an elbow drop from the top of the pod. CM Punk was in it, and so was Ronald Van Donald. The Elimination Chamber for the Intercontinental title in 2015 was a total and utter dumpster fire. All told, it was a bad night for Chambers, with the tag title one also being a bit of a cringe mess, but hot damn! So about 10-15 minutes into the match, after not much had happened, Wade Barrett shoved Dolph Ziggler into the side of Mark Henry's pod, and the plexiglass popped from its frame and flopped to the ground like a bulletproof fish. Mark Henry hesitated for a second, and then, because no DQ I guess, he joined the match early, and everything fell apart. Lost and confused, and with so many of the rehearsed spots blown, the competitors wandered around the chamber like overtired dads at a craft fair they didn't want to be at, with Dolph Ziggler almost giving himself a heart attack trying to give everyone moves to do. Oh, and Ryback won. Bully. And number 1, setting The Undertaker on fire. Midnight Mark has always taken his gimmick very seriously, but perhaps too much at Elimination Chamber 2010 when his pyro mistimed, and no joke, the WWE actually set the dead man on fire, which must have pissed off Kane backstage. Gimmick infringement's a big deal. Taker walked out and became engulfed in flames, forcing him to uncharacteristically storm to the ring and rip his smouldering coat off. The poor son of a bitch then had to stand in a pod, suffering from second-degree burns, pouring a series of water bottles over himself until it was his turn to go in and start bumping around on his burns. Imagine being the pyro guy who set The Undertaker on fire. Hey honey, how was your day at work? Oh fine, I almost killed one of the greatest wrestlers who ever lived, and I'll never work in wrestling again. Also, I think I'm cursed now, so pretty much the same. It's an accident that could have gone fatally wrong, and you sure as ain't gonna find it on the network. And that's our list. Did we miss any out? Tell us about it in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter here. I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and I'll see you soon.